So this is a regular OpenChain Telco workgroup meeting, and this meeting is one of two that happens every month. This is the Europe-Asia meeting, and later today there will also be a Europe-North America meeting. This meeting, like all of the Linux Foundation meetings, is under the LF antitrust policy. You can find the full policy on our website, and you can ask any questions of our counsel, Andrew Updegrove. Now, today we've had an agenda that's circulated to the list by our chair, Mark Yaton. It was circulated about 2 days ago. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of work to do. We've got information about updated minimum elements for SBOM quality for the US government procurement cycle, the CISA minimum elements. We had a ton of talks last week at Open Source Summit Europe and a ton of topics that impact our area. And Jimmy has some notes about SBOM encryption. This meeting is chaired by Mark Etienne from Nokia, and we, of course, have some of our well-known collaborators on the line, Daikoku-san from KDDI, and Jimmy Alberg from Ericsson, who's also the chair of the OpenChain project. So I'll hand over to you, Mark Etienne, to run through this. Do you want me to stop sharing? Do you want to start screen sharing? What's your preference?
Yes, I will start sharing.
Okay, I'm turning off my screen share now and handing over to you.
Okay. So, the first thing I wanted to talk about is the document that was recently released by CISA, yes, to update the minimum elements. I don't know if you had time to look at it.
Only very briefly.
Oh,
Not at all on my side. So today is when I get to look at it. And therefore, I suggest a run through would be super useful.
Yes, if we go to the first appendix, you have a list of now minimum elements that they require. So there are more than in the previous NTIA document. The good news is that if you look at this list, we have everything already in the OpenChain Telco guide. So that's good. That's good news. If you look in more details, I have some remarks. So they have, well, this is only a draft. So they require everyone to provide comments until 3rd of October. So we have about 1 month to comment. So some of the remarks I had is about new things. Now they require a tool name. The name of the tool used by the SBOM author to generate the SBOM. So here, what we have also in OpenChain Telco and that they don't have here is that we require also the tool version, which might be important. So I think we could ask them to require also the tool version. Then if we look at their other remarks, it's about the component name. They ask to allow for multiple entries. So this seems a bit strange for me because I don't really see how component might have several names, but well, it seems they require it. The issue here is that for instance, in SPDX, you can only give one name, so I don't know how this could be handled. Perhaps we could put the different names in the field separated by a semicolon or something. Then let me check what. Okay. Yes, let me check the other remarks. Yes, that's what I said. SPDX only allows one name. Okay, yeah. And for component version, they say that you should put the component version, but if you don't have it, you should put the creation date of the file. But here I don't really understand what this means because I don't know what the file is. A component or a package might come with many files, so it's. I don't think this is clear. Yes, so also now they require the license, which we have in OpenChain Telco. One question I had, currently in OpenChain Telco, we require the field both package declared license and concluded license. But users might put no assertion, so not really providing the license. So I was wondering whether we should perhaps disclose the value of no assertion, so to force people to really put the value of the license. What do you think?
Do you think it's feasible that people will do that? Will we always have that information? I'm sorry, exactly which field are we talking about? License or?
Yeah, license. Yeah. So, well, in the previous NTIA minimum elements, they didn't require license, so now they require it. So
Okay, yeah, I agree. I think that should be a requirement.
It's a bit cheating to put license concluded or with well, with value no assertion, because here you don't provide anything. So perhaps we should disallow the value of no assertion. If you look in the NTIA, they required the field supplier. And if you check what the NTIA validator does, is that it checks the presence of the field in SPDX, and it checks whether the field is no assertion, and if it's no assertion, they flag it as invalid. So perhaps we should do the same for the license.
I agree. I guess there could still be, or I guess there's still a valid value in that could still be proprietary license or commercially sourced or something.
Yes, you can do that in SPDX.
So I think it would be good to have it mandatory.
Okay. Then they require a type stamp to show when the SBOM was created. And so what they say is that record of the date and time of the most recent update to the SBOM data. This formulation seemed a bit strange to me, in the sense that for me, it's really the date when the SBOM was created. For me, if you modify the data, it's a new SBOM. It's not really an updated SBOM. But well, that's not very important. And last thing is the generation context. So if we look at the document, provide more information regarding the source of the data represented in the SBOM. And they say the values are before build, during build, or after build. What I find strange here is that in fact some time ago CISA created the types of SBOM with different values, design source, build, analyzed, and deployed. And so that is what we have put in the OpenChain Telco. So what seems strange to me here is that they don't reuse this thing here, but they provide another way with three values before, during, or after build. So I don't really see why they don't reuse their own definition. So any thoughts about that?
No, I find that very confusing, to be honest.
Yeah. So that was my remarks from reading the document. So as I said, the good news is that we are already mostly compliant in the telco guide. So perhaps we should, well, when this document is finalized, we should probably make a minor version to include it and to say we are compliant, but there should be not many modifications except perhaps what we just said, that the license should not contain no assertion. So in the I had discussed with the SPDX people in meeting this week. So I was told that the SPDX team will provide some formal comments to CISA, and that will be discussed in the next SPDX technical meeting next week on Tuesday. And also at Nokia we will discuss and provide comments also. Okay, so I encourage you to read the document and provide other comments if you have. You can put them on the mailing list. So that is one topic. So some news about what happened during the open source summit Europe in Amsterdam last week. So Jimmy, Norio, and Shiny was there. So just as a recap, there was a talk from Philippe Ambredan from ScanCode about package URL. So he's currently working to make package URL an ECMA standard. And when this is done, it will be fast-tracked to ISO, so to become an international standard, which is good. As we already recommend package URL as the way to identify the package in the telco guide, and he also is working to have a database of curated package URLs. Then, as other talks, there was a talk about Sepia. I must have, so it's worked on by Bosch. They have started a project so-called Sepia, SBOM Exchange Procedures, Interfaces and Architecture. So they want to validate SBOM with respect to SBOM schemas, and so they have in the presentation they mentioned OpenChain Telco as one of the industry schemas. And so they showed tools. Well, they just put their tools in open source that can be found here on GitHub, and so they have shown their tool, for instance, to merge different SBOMs into one, and they are working on enhancing their tools. They are planning an SPDX to Cyclone DX converter. So I discussed with them, and they proposed to have a meeting with us to compare their work with what we have done in the telco working group. So it's not yet done, but it should be in the next week. So I will tell you next month what we have discussed. Then during the OpenChain mini summit, there was a presentation from the automotive group that showed their SBOM schema, and from what I remember, it's rather similar to what we have done, but I have to look on it in more details. Then Jimmy had had a proposal about encryption of SBOMs. So to add to the guide some information, and so you provided a pull request. So to have a section encryption and storage of SBOM. So Jimmy, do you want to comment?
Yes, I can comment on that. So the idea behind this is that internally we discussed that we are somewhat concerned about how SBOMs sort of would be treated downstream. And we think it would be good to both have sort of encryption requirements on it, both during rest and transfer, and also with access control requirements on it, so that we can harmonize around that. It's something we've seen both in our own case, how we would like our customers to treat our SBOMs, but also how our suppliers are discussing around the use of their SBOMs for us. We're wondering if others had faced the same, and if it would be useful to put that also in the telco guide to enhance the security and integrity of the SBOMs.
Okay. Does someone have comments on this proposal? Okay, so in practice, I will not merge your contribution, because this file is the official version of the guide, so we cannot modify it. So I will create a draft and incorporate it, and and the other thing is that if we merge this, we would have two 3.8 sections. So.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing I didn't quite figure out how to solve. Solve for that.
Well, it's this wiki syntax, in fact, does not allow automatic numbering of sections. You have to do it by hand. So I will have to.
Then the rest would have to be changed as well. And I don't expect this this would have to go into sort of the next major update of the guide, but it's good to see that there's no sort of immediate objections toward it. I'm sure the wording and rationale can somewhat be improved, but thank you for that, and thank you for taking the time to create a draft for that.
Yeah, I will. Okay, so
Sorry to interrupt.
I think I have addressed the various topics I had in the agenda. So are there other things to discuss? Some feedback from last week summit, or anything else?
Yes, I had a small note, just that at the summit, we saw two other major talks about SBOM. There's the SBOM study group, which is working on guidance, explaining to people if they're looking at the telco SBOM quality guide, if they're thinking about cross-industry, how to approach that. And the governing board gave permission for the SBOM study group to turn into a work group. So their thinking document will now proceed to become a guide. So just like the telco SBOM guide explicitly defines quality SBOMs, The SBOM's work group will be working on a guide to help people think through that problem from first principles. So documentation all around those topics. And it will provide lots of examples of SBOMs that cover different use cases like CRA, like future regulations in Asia, etc., etc. So it will complement the work here. It will be using the work here and building extra reference material around it. The second thing was that last week we had a proposal at the OpenChain Mini Summit. The proposal was for an automotive SBOM discussion to happen. The automotive SBOM concept would be to follow the path of telco, look at is there something special about the industry? Then look at the question, does the telco guide cover it? Then look at the question, does the SBOM workgroup's work cover it? And then finally, if not, what can the automotive workgroup do based on your work, based on the SBOM workgroup, to make guidance for their industry? So those two things, the SBOM workgroup creating extra guidance for cross-industry, and the automotive workgroup looking at the same problem from the automotive perspective. I think those two things are important news for this workgroup and for our community as a whole. And just to end, I mentioned at the beginning of this call that our mini summit was recorded. Those talks were recorded as part of the mini summit. They will be available shortly. And as soon as they are, I will be letting Telco know about it so you can see the talks yourself.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Shane, for this detailed description. Yeah, I had given a few words on automotive, but yeah, you added some context to it.
Yes, I just wanted to reiterate it so that people really knew that this was coming. And I suppose one thing that's on my mind is to make sure that people feel really welcome to be part of that work. You know, if someone is interested in automotive, but they're not from an automotive company, it doesn't matter. They can dial into the automotive call. And I really want to make it clear that it's 100% access and it's all 100% working on what's been done here.
Yeah, the same at Telco. We had some participants that are not from the telco world. Okay, so any other thoughts?
Maybe it would be, well, of course, the presentation from Open Source Summit Europe is probably recorded, but it might be interesting to have a presentation from the Sepia project, or if that could happen in the SPOM work group, maybe. I'd be interested to sort of hear more and talk to them about their thinking.
They, as I said, they told me that they will contact me. We'll have a meeting with them, but yes, I can ask them to make a presentation here next month or the month after. Okay, so as I said, please have a look at the CISA minimum elements, and if you have comments, just send them on the mailing list, and I will summarize it and send it to CISA.
Brilliant.
Okay, so thank you for your participation, and let's meet again. Well, I will run the second meeting this afternoon, but we'll meet next month in October.
Thank you so much and have a beautiful day.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye bye.